So the Chicago Bears just made two really sneaky good moves that I want to cover here. And as you know, the Bears failed to address edge rushers specifically in this draft that just got over. And as a result, they're starting to turn their eyes towards the undrafted free agent market. And I think these two players that were just signed, I think they're actually significant. And the Bears, these two players that came in, they fit the Bears' defensive scheme perfectly in size and in motor. And I think the most significant one out of the two is Cal's Xavier Carlton. Once again, he fits this defensive scheme perfectly. And in my opinion, this might be one of those players that might actually make the 53 coming in as an undrafted free agent. And before I get to it, this is Sports Talk Bears, guys. We are driving towards 10,000 subscribers. You guys have been so generous. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so. It would be a huge blessing. Would love to have you aboard within this community. And also in the comments, let's have a little conversation. What was the best pick that the Bears made in this NFL draft that just got over? We can say the first rounder, we can say Loveland, but let's dig a little deeper. What was the most underrated signing that you think that the Bears did in this draft? And I'll look forward to breaking it down with you in the comments. So thank you guys. And let's kind of get to this video and let's talk about Xavier Carlton, undrafted free agent out of Cal. We're looking at a guy that's a physical fit, 6'6", 275 pounds as an edge rusher. And we're talking about 19 sacks over his last 3 college seasons. The guy showcases raw talent, but he's also known as having a high football IQ. So he is considered being raw as a pass rusher, but his run defense skills, his consistent upfield presence, the way he drives through the line, it makes him a really intriguing prospect. And I'm actually excited about this player. And the strengths that he has. We're talking about length, obviously, upper body strength, which is nice, and also the ability to use his wingspan effectively, especially in one-on-one situations. And I think this guy's definitely a candidate to outperform someone like Dominique Robinson on our roster. I think this is a player that's actually going to make our 53-man roster. You guys heard it here. I'm making a prediction. And this guy is a guy who gets after the passer. Great size, great motor, and also coming from a school at Cal that actually faces stiff competition. So specifically, 6'6", 275, right? Numbers are really nice. He led his team in multiple categories. So let's get into that. 47 tackles, 11 tackles for a loss, and a team best 9 sacks last season. He also led the Golden Bears with 8 quarterback hurries. Just 2 nice stats to lead the team in if he's going to become a member of the Chicago Bears. And talking about this draft and free agency, it has all been about team fit. Not what every other staff in the NFL values, not what Mel Kiper values. The Chicago Bears have been really disciplined in making sure that they have a specific mold for a player, and that's what they sign guys and draft guys within that parameter. And this is a guy that fits really well. He had 19 for his careers as far as sacks, 18 of them at Cal for the final 3 seasons. And this was after his transfer from Utah in his freshman year. The guy also knocked down 5 passes and made 28 tackles for a loss, chosen by the coaches as a 3rd-team All-Atlantic Coach Conference selection. And then it's not enough to look at last year. Let's look at the year before to really see how he's ascending. And in 2023, he had 4.5 sacks, 5 quarterback hurries as a junior, and totaled 18 sacks once again in his 3 seasons with Cal after transferring from Utah. And I wanted to make note of this because this is a really nice thing to see. The guy's improved every single year. We want to always be adding young players who are ascending, right? And this is what the Bears have been doing. A native of Modesto in the California Central Valley, graduated from Cal. He actually got his degree, a degree in American Studies. But he did graduate. He was a student athlete, consensus 4-star prospect out of Juan Diego Catholic High School. And his signing also comes on the heels of 4 of his Cal teammates being selected during the 3-day NFL draft. This was a team that really, it ended up providing some NFL talent here. So he was on a good team. And I think this is just a find for the Bears. I think this might be a diamond in the rough. I think this is definitely a player that moves the needle on the undrafted free agent market for the Bears. Another signing, this player's pretty intriguing. Jeremy Robinson out of Kansas. He's also signed with the Bears, and we're looking at his size being prototypical as well. A little shorter, 6'4", but still measuring in at 270 pounds. And this is a guy coming from the University of Kansas. He's known for being a lot of power on the edge, explosive first step, high motor. His stats, he racked up sacks and tackles for a loss during his time in the Big 12. And he actually has a lot of promise as a pass rusher. As far as his frame, super pro ready. His bend around the edge really stands out. And his tape, if you watch it, I've watched a little bit. I'm not a tape junkie, but I've seen a little of it. He just looks like a really high motor guy, a guy who never takes a play off. Just really, he has relentless pursuit. He never stops driving towards the quarterback. So his strengths, quick burst off the snap, versatility, can play standing up or with his hand in the dirt, strong at disengaging from blockers. But his weakness is that he needs more polish in the pass rush as far as technique. He can also tend to over-pursue and run support. So let's kind of look at his fit with Dennis Allen. I think it's obvious from what I've already said. High motor player, good explosiveness, and that's really what Allen looks for. He looks for size and length and also this explosiveness because this is a pressure-heavy system, especially from the end. He could really carve out a role as a situational pass rusher early, develop more over time. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch in camp. And we're looking at 14 sacks in 5 Kansas seasons. And he's also a former teammate of Bears edge Austin Booker. So there'll be some familiarity in camp. And he made 29 tackles for a loss and forced 5 fumbles. So these are the 2 main signings. But there's one more pass rusher coming into town. And there's an invitation given to another edge player for a tryout at rookie camp. And this is Virginia Tech's Cole Nelson. The thing about him, I'm not sure that he's going to be that significant because he's a little undersized for the scheme at 6'3" and 241 pounds. But he still had 9 sacks and 17 tackles for a loss at Va-Tech. They also failed to draft a safety. They have no safeties under contract for 2026. But their undrafted list so far includes LSU's Major Burns and Oregon's Tysheem Johnson. I mean, I spoke there. We have Byard and we have Brisker, but there's no new players that were drafted at safety and no new safeties under contract. So pardon me on that. So looking at Major Burns, it's a good football name. It kind of sounds like a Simpson joke name, right? Major Burns made 2 interceptions, 9 pass breakups, and he actually had 208 tackles at LSU. And Tysheem Johnson, he had 262 tackles, 6 interceptions, 16 tackles for a loss with 11 pass breakups. So the Bears have been busy already on the undrafted free agent market. Kind of some other guys that were signed. J.P. Richardson, a wide receiver out of TCU. Power Eccles, a linebacker out of North Carolina. Jonathan Kim, a kicker at Michigan State. Now, he's actually really interesting. He's the most accurate, the best kicker to ever come out of Michigan State, and I think he might actually provide some competition for what we presently have. The guy's got a really long, strong leg, and that's really the only thing that we're lacking from a field goal kicker. We already have the accuracy. So we've also got Luke Elkin out of Iowa. And he could be possibly a replacement. He's a long snapper. Let's keep watch of that. And also Jade Walker, a wide receiver out of Texas A&M. So the Bears have already been busy. You guys let me know in the comments who you think was the most intriguing draft pick that the Bears brought into town. And bear down. We'll talk soon. See ya.